Welcome to the hidden world. Today, we are going to follow a journey that most people never see. Every time you open a tap, clean water appears in seconds. It feels simple. But behind that small moment, there is a very large system. Think about it. Before the water reaches your kitchen, it may have traveled through a river, a reservoir, a treatment plant, large pipelines, storage tanks, pumps, and an entire network below the streets. And that system has to work not only for one home. It has to serve homes, hospitals, schools, businesses, and emergency services at the same time. In this video, we are not going to look at water as just water. We are going to look at it as a city-scale engineering story. We will see where it starts, how it becomes safe, how it moves across different elevations, and what happens after it disappears down the drain. By the end, the next time you open a tap, you will see something much bigger than a glass of water. When we say a city water system, do not imagine only pipes under the road. Imagine a living network that supports daily life every minute. A home needs water for drinking, cooking, washing, and cleaning. A hospital needs reliable water for patients, equipment, and hygiene. A school needs it for thousands of small daily moments. And fire systems may depend on it in an emergency. That is why the water system cannot be designed only for a quiet afternoon. It has to handle the morning rush, evening demand, hot weather, repairs, and unexpected events. The viewer may open one tap, but the system is responding to the needs of an entire city at the same time. Here is a useful way to imagine it. Your tap is the final door of a long chain. If something goes wrong at the source, at the treatment plant, at a pump station, or inside the distribution network, the final door may not deliver what people expect. So the real question is not simply, where is the water? The real question is, how does the city keep it safe and moving all the way to millions of small destinations? This slide is the map for the whole video. A typical city water supply can be understood as 6 connected steps: source, treatment, storage, pumping, distribution, and finally, the tap. First, the city needs a source. Water has to come from somewhere. Second, the water is treated so it can meet the required quality for its use. Third, it is stored. Storage gives the system time and flexibility. Fourth, pumps may move water across long distances or up to higher areas. Fifth, distribution pipes spread the water through the city. And finally, the water reaches people at the tap. These are not 6 separate projects. They are 6 parts of one chain. If treatment is excellent, but the distribution network is weak, the customer still has a problem. If there is plenty of water at the source, but no pressure at the top of a building, the service is still incomplete. I like to describe this as a relay race. Each system hands the water to the next system. The goal is simple: deliver the right water at the right pressure when people need it. There is no single answer for every city. The water source depends on geography, climate, local regulations, cost, and long-term availability. A rainy inland city may use rivers, lakes, or reservoirs. Another city may depend heavily on groundwater taken from wells. A coastal city may turn to the sea and remove salt through desalination. And in some places, treated wastewater is reused for selected purposes. Let us take a simple example. Imagine 2 cities. City A is close to a large river and receives regular rain. It may have a strong surface water source. City B is on a dry coast with very little fresh water nearby. For City B, desalination may become much more important. Same human need, completely different starting point. This is why water systems are deeply connected to the place where they are built. The engineer is not only moving water, the engineer is responding to local reality: mountains, rainfall, sea access, aquifers, population growth, and demand. So before we talk about pipes and pumps, remember this first lesson. Every city begins with the water it can realistically secure. Many people imagine a treatment plant as one machine where dirty water enters and clean water comes out. In reality, it is usually a controlled sequence of stages. The exact design depends on the original water quality and local requirements, but the basic idea is easy to understand. First, large debris may be removed through screening. Then, some particles are allowed to settle out. After that, filtration helps remove smaller material. Finally, disinfection is used to control harmful microorganisms. Each step has a job. The system is not guessing. It is operating through measured processes, equipment, testing, and trained people. A useful comparison is airport security. You do not have one person doing every check. You have several checks, each designed to catch a different problem. Water treatment works in a similar way. It is a series of barriers and controls. The important message is this: safe water is not an accident. It is the result of a process that is designed, monitored, and maintained carefully. Water has weight. And because it has weight, moving it through a city is not as simple as connecting a pipe from point A to point B. Distance matters. Elevation matters. Pressure loss matters. When the terrain allows it, gravity is a great helper. If a reservoir is located high above a neighborhood, water can move downhill with less pumping. This is one reason why elevation is so important in water systems. Height can become useful energy. But cities are rarely flat and simple. Some areas are higher, some buildings are taller, some pipes are long. In these cases, pump stations may be needed to push water forward or lift it to a higher pressure zone. Think of carrying a heavy bag upstairs. The higher you go, the more effort you need. Water faces the same basic challenge. A pump station provides the energy to help it climb where gravity cannot do the work alone. This is why a water network is also an energy system. Electricity, pumps, controls, elevation, and storage all work together to keep water moving. Storage is one of the quiet heroes of the water system. A reservoir or elevated tank gives the city a buffer between water production and water demand. Without storage, the system would need to produce exactly the same amount of water that people are using every second. That would be very difficult. Think about demand during one normal day. Early in the morning, many people shower, prepare breakfast, and get ready for work or school. Demand can rise quickly. Late at night, demand is usually much lower. Storage helps the city absorb these changes instead of forcing every pump and treatment process to react immediately. Storage can also support pressure. In some systems, an elevated tank uses height to help maintain water pressure. And storage gives operators valuable time during disruptions. If a pump needs repair or a power problem occurs, stored water can help bridge the gap. Storage does not solve every problem, but it gives the system breathing room. It creates time, flexibility, and resilience. This diagram is not a real city map, but it shows a very important idea. A city water system is a network. Large trunk mains carry water across major zones. Smaller pipes branch out towards streets, homes, schools, hospitals, and shops. Why not use one huge pipe for everything? Because a city is not one destination. It is thousands of destinations spread over a large area. The network has to deliver water close to each customer, while maintaining pressure and allowing operators to control different sections. Notice the valve symbols. Valves may look small compared with the pipes, but they are extremely useful. If there is a repair or a leak in one area, operators can isolate a section instead of shutting down the entire city. This is the difference between a network that can be controlled and a network that can only react. A good water system is therefore not only about capacity. It is about control. Engineers need to know where water is going, which section is affected, and how to protect service for as many people as possible. A tall building creates a special challenge. Water must reach upper floors with enough pressure, But the lower floors should not receive more pressure than the building system can safely manage. So the question is not just, can water go up? The question is, can water go up and still stay controlled everywhere? At lower levels, pressure can become too high if the system is not managed carefully. At upper levels, pressure may become too weak. That is why many tall buildings use pressure zones, booster pumps, and sometimes storage tanks. These components help divide the building into manageable parts. Think of it like a mountain hotel. The ground floor and the top floor do not experience the same conditions. The building needs a strategy for each level. Water systems inside tall buildings are small versions of the same city problem: elevation, pressure, storage, and control. This is also why the water system does not end at the street. The city delivers water to the building connection, but the building itself, when water leaves the tap, it starts a second journey. After people use water in homes, offices, schools, or businesses, it enters a wastewater collection system. This system carries used water away for treatment and controlled discharge, or in some places, for reuse. The key idea is that a city is not only bringing water in, it also has to manage water after use. Without wastewater collection and treatment, the same city that depends on clean water would create serious health and environmental problems. In some places, treated wastewater can be reused for selected purposes. For example, it may support irrigation, industrial processes, or other local needs. The exact use depends on the local system and regulations. Reuse is not simply about saving water. It is about using the right quality of water for the right purpose. So if the first half of our story is source to tap, the second half is tap to collection, treatment, and responsible return or reuse. A city water system is designed for normal operation, but it must also prepare for abnormal conditions. Drought can reduce the amount of available source water. Leaks can waste water before it reaches customers. A contamination concern may require operators to isolate an area and investigate. And a power loss can affect pumps, controls, and communications. This is why water utilities need more than pipes and pumps. They need monitoring systems, maintenance teams, trained operators, spare parts, emergency procedures, and clear decision-making. The public may only notice the system when something goes wrong, but much of the real work happens quietly, before problems become visible. Think about a leak under a busy road. The engineering question is not only, how do we repair the pipe? It is also, how do we isolate the area, protect people, keep nearby customers supplied, coordinate the repair, and return the system to service safely? That is what resilience means here. It is the ability to keep serving people or recover quickly when the real world does not follow the plan. Let us bring the whole journey together. Water is collected from a source. It is treated. It is stored. It is moved through pumps and pipelines. It is distributed through a city network. It reaches homes and buildings. Then, after use, it enters another system for collection, treatment, return, or reuse. What makes this story powerful is that no single part is enough by itself. A great reservoir without treatment is not enough. A treatment plant without distribution pipes is not enough. Strong pumps without power, storage, control, and maintenance are not enough. The system works because many parts work together. The next time you open a tap, take 1 second to think beyond the glass. You are seeing geography, chemistry, civil engineering, mechanical systems, electricity, monitoring, planning, and human effort, all arriving at one small point in your home. That is the hidden world behind city water. A simple action for us, a remarkable system underneath.